You've seen it in the movies. A criminal on the run, a secret escape plan, a destination where the FBI can't reach them.
What's going on?
We got a fire, gate 2. All prisoners back to their cells.
Copy that. We got a runner. Pete, prisoners running.
But is this just Hollywood fiction? Or is there a real-world loophole that lets criminals evade justice? The truth is, for centuries, criminals have fled across borders to avoid prosecution. Ancient Greek city-states protected their citizens. Medieval Italy had safe havens for outlaws. And even today, some nations refuse to send criminals back to their home countries. But why? Do criminals really get away with crime by fleeing to another country? In today's video, we'll explore the world of extradition law, reveal the countries that don't extradite criminals back to the U.S., and dive into the stories of infamous fugitives who've managed to run away or failed at it. Let's start with the basics. What is extradition? In simple terms, extradition is a legal process where one country formally requests another to surrender a person accused or convicted of a crime. If someone commits a crime in the U.S. but escapes to another country, the U.S. can request their return, provided an extradition agreement exists. Sounds straightforward, right? Well, not exactly. Here's the twist. Not all countries have extradition agreements with the U.S., and even when they do, political and legal loopholes can complicate matters. Some nations refuse to extradite for specific crimes, while others use fugitives as bargaining chips in international diplomacy. Before diving into a list of non-extradition countries, let's look at some high-profile cases of individuals who have run from the law. Edward Snowden. In 2013, after leaking classified NSA documents, Snowden fled to Hong Kong and eventually landed in Russia, where he was granted asylum. Over a decade later, he still lives there, safe from extradition. Julian Assange. The founder of WikiLeaks became a global fugitive after releasing classified documents. Assange sought refuge in Ecuador's London embassy for 7 years before facing extradition battles with multiple countries.
The UK's Home Secretary Sajid Javid has confirmed that Assange is in police custody and that he will be in front of a judge very soon, adding, and I quote, "No one is above the law."
He eventually found himself in a London prison for his crimes. Roman Polanski. The Oscar-winning director fled to France after pleading guilty to unlawful sexual intercourse with a minor.
I was sexually victimized by Roman Polanski when I was a minor at the age of 16 in 1973.
Avoiding extradition since the late 1970s. Mark Rich. The billionaire financier indicted for tax evasion and illegal oil deals fled to Switzerland, escaping U.S. jurisdiction for years before his controversial pardon by Bill Clinton in 2001.
The FBI released an archive of documents, 129 pages, from the 2001 investigation into Bill Clinton's pardon of a fugitive financier, Mark Rich. You may recall this was a very controversial story.
John McAfee. The software mogul and eccentric personality evaded authorities over tax evasion charges, constantly moving between countries to avoid capture. He eventually ended up in jail in Spain, where he was found dead, though some feel his death was faked, and he is still on the run. Xiao Chang. In November 2024, Xiao Chang, a former associate at Arrow Street Capital, was charged with stealing trade secrets from the U.S. Despite the indictment, Chang remains in China, and the absence of an extradition treaty means he is unlikely to face trial in the U.S. Harold Martin III. He was an NSA contractor accused of stealing classified information who thought he could escape justice by hiding in the United Arab Emirates. Despite the lack of a formal extradition treaty, he was swiftly arrested and sent back to the U.S. due to diplomatic cooperation, proving that while Dubai offers a safe haven for some, it might not always be a guaranteed escape. The concept of extradition isn't new. The idea of one country surrendering fugitives to another dates back thousands of years. The earliest known extradition agreements were established in the 12th century BCE. Today, while the United States has treaties with over 100 countries, including allies like Canada, the UK, France, and Australia, Nearly half of the world's nations remain outside these agreements. So where do fugitives go when they want to disappear? Let's explore 5 major countries that don't have extradition treaties with the United States. But there is one surprising country that has become a strategic haven for those on the run. Even the most powerful world government struggles to get criminals out. It's the ultimate safe haven, and you won't believe where it is located. So first, what countries rarely send criminals back to the U.S. for extradition? Let's start with Russia. If you're a high-profile figure wanted by the U.S., Russia might be your best bet. The country has a long history of protecting individuals accused of financial crimes, hacking, and even espionage. The U.S. and Russia do not have an extradition treaty, meaning that once someone enters Russian territory, bringing them back is nearly impossible, unless Russia itself decides otherwise. Russia's refusal to extradite isn't just about laws. The country often uses fugitives as political bargaining chips, making it one of the most well-known safe havens for those running from American authority. Next, China. China's strict surveillance system makes it a tough place to hide. But here's the twist. If you have political leverage, you might be safe. China does not have an extradition treaty with the U.S. and has repeatedly refused to hand over individuals sought by American law enforcement. The next place on the list is Dubai. Dubai is a playground for the ultra-wealthy, and it turns out some of those billionaires aren't just enjoying luxury, they're escaping justice. The UAE has extradition treaties, but they rarely enforce them, especially for economic crimes. Take Amedeo Matessina, a former Italian parliamentarian who was convicted in June 2013 for collusion with the 'Ndrangheta, a notorious criminal organization in Italy. Following his conviction, Matessina fled to Dubai to evade imprisonment. Despite Italy's repeated extradition requests, the United Arab Emirates denied them, allowing Matessina to remain in Dubai. Moving further into the Middle East, Saudi Arabia is another country that refuses to hand over fugitives. With no formal treaty in place, fugitives who enter the country often remain beyond the reach of American law enforcement. This protection extends even to high-profile cases. The U.S. has repeatedly sought the extradition of individuals involved in financial crimes and corruption scandals, but Saudi Arabia has refused to comply, making it a safe haven for those looking to disappear. And now to the country that frustrates world governments the most: the Maldives. Known for its luxury resorts and turquoise waters, this tropical paradise has no formal extradition treaty with the United States. With its small population, its complex legal system, and loose financial regulations, it makes it an attractive option for wealthy fugitives who are looking to avoid legal trouble. As one 2023 investigative report pointed out, certain fugitives have used Maldivian residency loopholes to settle there under fake identities. Plus, let's be honest, if you had to be on the run, wouldn't you want to do it from a tropical paradise? But the truth is this: while movies glamorize life on the run, in reality, life as a fugitive is anything but smooth. Many criminals who escape extradition live in isolation, constantly paranoid that their host country will cut a deal to send them back. Even if a country refuses to extradite today, that could change overnight. A new government, a diplomatic shift, or public pressure could suddenly make a fugitive safe haven disappear. The world has seen this happen before. What seems like a permanent escape can turn into a one-way ticket to prison at any moment. Now it's time to hear from you. What are your thoughts about this? Share with us in the comments. And if you enjoyed this video, don't stop here. Hit that like button and check out our next video. You never know what you'll discover next.